Charge Trading. Today we're going to be doing the wolf pattern. This is one of my all-time favorite patterns. And you know I like support and resistance. So let me show you a little secret about support and resistance. So when you begin trading, you go by highs and lows, right? Your highs are your resistance, your lows are your support. And so you come in and you say, okay, here's a high. And I'm a genius. This is so easy. So I'm going to draw a channel line on these two highs. And then it comes over and you get this breakout. And you're like, oh man, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I should have come from this high, use this high. And now I'm off of my market. Oh, now price didn't come up and hit that resistance level, so that's not the right channel. Well, maybe I should have took this high and skipped this high and used this high and look for that next trade. Oh, nope, price didn't come up there. That's wrong. And so when you're looking at this, I just gave you 3 examples of using highs and higher highs to find a trend line. You could use this high. Here's another high. Here's another high. And again, price doesn't hit any of these trend lines. And it's so frustrating because you're like, did I draw the channel wrong? What's going on? But really, this is what you want to start looking for, is a breakout in your resistance channels, because this is the beginning of the wolf pattern. The wolf pattern has 5 legs. So you take your first high, and that's leg number 1. Then you come down to your next low, which is leg number 2. Price comes up and gives you leg number 3 as a high, and then you have another pullback, which is leg number 4, as a higher low, squeezing this thing together, making a wedge pattern with a breakout on the wedge pattern. Then that's where you enter. Once it breaks out higher than the wedge pattern resistance, that proves to you that you have an entry point. Now, you can either enter somewhere up here in no man's land, but I've seen price take off a little bit and come up higher highs and then come back down. Or if you're a little bit more conservative, you can wait until it breaks back below that resistance line right here, enter into the trade. You take leg 1 over to the bottom of leg 4, and you bring that support and resistance level to your target area. Resistance, support gives you new support, which that's your target. Okay, let's go over it again. So you have leg 1, and leg 1 is at a high. That's why you need to know higher highs, higher lows. The next one, see, this is leg 2, equal low, which is okay because it's number 2. All you need is the low from the high. Now you go up and you make an even higher high for leg 3. You come back down to leg 4 because this is going into a wedge pattern. You have to make a higher low, and that comes into right here. And then, of course, for your last one, you're going to make an even higher high because it's going to be a breakout of that resistance line, and that's your entry point. Then basically you just change it up and come back down and say from your first resistance level, which is showing you this high line, and then you come down and you use your support and your resistance that you already know about. Then you use your support and resistance levels that gives you your target. And this pattern happens all the time. Right now we have a low here, we have a lower low, we have a lower low. You can see prices broke out right here at the bottom. If we look at the other side of this trade, we see that there's resistance here. We have a wedging pattern. Here's another lower high, and we bring that down. And what is happening? We're having a breakout. So we could have got into this trade at the beginning right here. Or now that we have a breakout of our resistance, we could do a little bit more of a conservative trade right here. Again, where would our targets be? Well, easy. All we have to do is find old support and resistance. Old support makes new resistance. All right, so let's go over this trade one more time. We have support, which is leg 1. We have resistance, leg 2. We have support, leg 3. We have resistance, leg 4. We have a confirmation breakout. Now we have a confirmation break of the trend line to enter the trade. And we have our resistance level, which is going to be our target. You'll have to go back and you'll have to measure over time how much this thing moves, when it moves, how many days it moves. You got to watch the video on trend, then momentum, then support and resistance, then price average, then how many days that price average takes. That's your 5 steps to any trade. Right now, what have we done? The trend is to the downside. It's a breakout of trend. We're doing a momentum trade up into resistance. How many days is that going to take? We're using our support and resistance as our entry points and our target points. And I just want to show you how many times this happens. If you go to the left of the screen, you see that you have a high here. You have a higher wedge pattern giving you those higher lows. Where's the target? You go from the high of 1 to the low of 3. You bring that target down. Did it hit the target? 100% and then some. Next, what happens? Downtrend. So we take the low, go for a lower low. And what happens at here? We have a break of that low. Do we have a wedge pattern? Yes, we do. And then we would say from leg 1 up to leg 3, did we hit the target? Yes, we did. And then some. Now you have a high here. You have another high. If you draw that trend line across, did we break that trend line? Yes, we did. Did it go higher than just above the trend line? Yes, it did. So then where do we enter? We enter once we have the confirmation of the break of this resistance, right? This is resistance. Now it's new support. Once it breaks this line, it comes across from leg 1, leg 3, and where do we find? It hits the target. Even if you drew it a little bit lower, it goes lower and then some. Where are we at? We have a downtrend. We have a low. We have a lower low. And what happened? It broke that lower low trend line. We could get into the trade once it breaks back above. What do we also have? We have the highs, lower highs. We break this wedge formation right here. Where does it go? We take leg 1 over to leg 3 and price goes right to that target and then some. So how do we find our target? We go from leg 1 support. We go over to our leg 3. This one just happens to be a horizontal-ish line. And what happens? Boom, we hit the target right away. Comes up, hits again, comes up, hits again. This pattern works over and over. We can see 7 wolf pattern setups in just 1 month. That's all you need to trade. You only need to trade this pattern and you will make lots and lots of money.